The afternoon sun beat down on the rocky trails of the Colorado mountains. 7-year-old Leo, tired and sweaty, stumbled hard over a sharp stone. Pain shot through his knee. In a burst of pure frustration, he kicked the rock and screamed into the vast, empty canyon, "I hate you!" Instantly, a booming voice rolled back from the deep valley. "I hate you! I hate you!" Leo froze, his eyes going wide. Leo looked around wildly, scanning the jagged cliffs and tall pine trees. He couldn't see a single soul, yet the voice was so clear. Confused and feeling mocked, he cupped his hands around his mouth and shouted back into the distance, "Who are you?" Almost immediately, the wind carried the reply, mimicking him perfectly. "Who are you? Who are you?" Leo's confusion turned into sharp anger. He felt like he was being teased by some invisible enemy hiding in the rocks. His face turned red and his hands balled into tight fists. He took a deep breath, filling his small lungs with the thin mountain air, and screamed with all his might, "You are a coward!" The canyon roared back, louder and deeper this time, the sound bouncing from one rock face to another. "Coward! Coward!" The echo seemed to surround him, harsh and unrelenting. Suddenly, the vast mountains didn't feel like an adventure anymore. They felt hostile. Leo's anger quickly melted into fear. He felt small against that giant, booming voice. Trembling slightly, he turned around and ran to his father, wrapping his arms tight around his dad's leg for safety. Looking up with wide, watery eyes, he asked, "Dad, who is that bad person bullying me? Why are they saying such mean things?" His father, who had been standing there silently watching the whole time, didn't look angry or worried. He simply looked down at his son with a calm, gentle gaze, while the silence of the forest slowly returned. His father didn't get angry at the boy's outburst. Instead, a gentle smile touched his lips, warm and reassuring. He knelt down on the dusty trail, bringing himself to Leo's eye level, and placed a steady hand on his son's trembling shoulder. "Son," he whispered, his voice cutting through the fear, "pay close attention." The father stood up, turning his body toward the vast, empty canyon. He took a deep breath, filling his lungs with the crisp mountain air. Then, instead of a scream of frustration, he shouted with pure joy, "I admire you!" The silence of the valley broke, but this time the voice that returned was not a threat. It was a warm greeting, rolling back to them like a wave. "I admire you. I admire you." Leo blinked, confused. The hostility was gone. Before he could ask a question, his father shouted again, his voice echoing with strength and conviction. "You are a champion!" And just like that, the mountains cheered back, affirming the statement with power. "You are a champion. You are a champion." Leo stood frozen, his mouth slightly open. The fear vanished, replaced by total astonishment. He looked at the towering cliffs, then up at his father. He couldn't understand. Why did the bad person hiding in the rocks suddenly become so kind? Why did the enemy turn into a friend? The father sat down on a large, flat rock and pulled Leo close to his side. The wind rustled through the pine trees, and the air around them felt lighter, the tension of the hike replaced by a profound peace. "You see, Leo," the father explained, his voice low and steady like a stream flowing over smooth stones. "People call this an echo, but really, this is life. It has no voice of its own. It simply returns to you exactly what you send out. It reflects your actions, your words, and your heart. If you speak with anger, life sends conflict back to you. But if you give kindness, Kindness returns. What you heard wasn't a stranger, son. It was a mirror. From this simple moment in the mountains, we uncover a profound truth about our own existence. We often move through life feeling like victims of circumstance, asking why people are angry, why the world is cold, or why we feel unheard. But the story of the echo reminds us that the world is not separate from us. It is a mirror. If you do not like what you are receiving, you must examine what you are broadcasting. The world behaves exactly like that canyon. If you shout anger into it, you will find yourself surrounded by conflict. But if you speak with compassion, you will find yourself surrounded by peace. This applies to everything you desire. If you want more love in your life, you must create more love in your heart to give away. If you want people to be kind to you, be the first to show kindness to a stranger. If you wish for others to be patient with your mistakes, then practice patience with theirs. Remember this rule. Life is not a coincidence. Life is a reflection. It does not give you what you want. It gives you who you are. As the sun began to dip below the peaks, painting the sky in soft shades of orange and gold, Leo took his father's hand. They walked back down the trail in silence, no longer afraid of the noise, but comforted by the quiet truth they now understood. Make a choice to plant good seeds today. Everything you send out will eventually find its way back to your door. Let us know in the comments, what is the one good thing you want to receive in your life? Stay calm and stay peaceful.